If you've reached your 40s or 50s, or your very late 50s, early 60s, and found yourself saying, I'm eating better than I used to, I'm walking every day, but the scale just won't move, you're definitely not alone. Of course you're not. We've all had that same issue. One of the biggest frustrations I hear from people in midlife is that the strategies that worked in their 20s and 30s simply don't seem to work anymore. Most people assume the problem is metabolism. Others blame hormones. Some think they just haven't found the right diet yet. And some of those things definitely play a part. But there's another factor that often gets overlooked, one that's quietly influencing every other part of the weight loss equation. You guessed it, sleep. On today's episode, I want to make the case that if you're trying to lose weight after 40 and you're ignoring your sleep, you're trying to solve only half of the puzzle. I'm Jay, and this is Somnilopod. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am so glad that you're taking some time to sit with me and to listen to what I got to say. And we're going to be talking about, of course, one of my favorite things, eating. Well, eating and sleep. And the interesting thing is that sleep in and of itself doesn't just affect how tired you feel. It changes the way your brain makes decisions, how your hormones regulate hunger, how your body stores fat, and even how motivated you are to exercise. Now, when we're well rested, our bodies are incredibly good at maintaining balance. During sleep, we regulate hormones, we repair tissues, consolidate memories, and reset the brain for another day. But after 40, sleep often becomes more fragile. Many people begin experiencing lighter sleep, more nighttime awakenings, increased stress, menopause or andromenopause related changes, sleep apnea, chronic pain, and medications that can interfere with your sleep quality. The result is often chronic sleep deprivation, not necessarily because people never sleep, but because they're no longer getting enough restorative sleep. And that's where weight begins to enter the conversation. One of the first things sleep deprivation changes is appetite. Researchers have consistently shown that poor sleep increases levels of ghrelin, one of the hormones called the hunger hormone, and while at the same time decreases leptin, the hormone that tells your brain we've had enough to eat. Now think what that means. You become hungrier and less satisfied after eating. That's a terrible combination if you're trying to lose weight. It's one reason why after a bad night's sleep, you don't usually crave grilled chicken and broccoli. Your brain wants fast energy, cookies, potato chips, pizza, ice cream, sugary drinks, Little Debbie's Swiss cake rolls. They are my go-to when I need a little pick-me-up. That and a Diet Mountain Dew. Highly processed foods. They become dramatically more appealing because your brain is searching for the quickest way to replace what it perceives as an energy shortage. And that's just biology. It's not a lack of willpower. Sleep loss also changes how our brain makes decisions. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning and self-control and good judgment, doesn't function nearly as efficiently when you're sleep deprived. Meanwhile, the emotional and reward centers of the brain become more active. That's why after sleeping only 5 or 6 hours, the idea of skipping dessert suddenly feels impossible. It's not because you're weak. Your brain is literally evaluating rewards differently than it would after a full night's sleep. This is one of the reasons why so many diets fail. People focus on discipline while ignoring the biological systems that make discipline possible. Then there's insulin sensitivity. After just a few nights of poor sleep, your body's ability to process glucose becomes less efficient. Over time, chronic sleep loss may contribute to insulin resistance, making it easier to store excess calories as fat and harder for your body to regulate blood sugar efficiently. This becomes increasingly important in midlife because insulin sensitivity naturally declines with age in many people. Poor sleep pours gasoline on an already smoldering fire. Another surprising effect of poor sleep is what it does to muscle. If you're over 40, maintaining muscle mass becomes incredibly important because muscle burns more calories than fat and helps keep metabolism healthier. Unfortunately, much of the body's repair and recovery work happens during sleep. If you're strength training but consistently sleeping only 5 or 6 hours each night, you're limiting your body's ability to recover and build lean muscle. You're putting in the work, but not giving your body the opportunity to fully benefit from it. Then there's my favorite, exercise. Exercise itself. Think honestly about how you feel after a terrible night's sleep. Do you feel excited about going for a brisk walk? Do you want to lift weights? Do you feel motivated to cook a healthy dinner? Probably not. Poor sleep doesn't just affect metabolism. It drains motivation, it reduces energy, it increases fatigue. Suddenly, the drive-through becomes much more attractive than the meal prep, and the couch wins over the treadmill. Again, this isn't about laziness, it's biology trying to conserve energy. One thing I always like to remind myself and others of is this: you cannot out-exercise chronic sleep deprivation. You might be able to force yourself through a workout, but if your sleep remains poor, your hunger hormones, recovery system, decision making, and energy regulation are still working against you. That's why some people spend months dieting without seeing the results they expected. They're addressing calories, but not recovery. So, what should you do? As always, the goal isn't perfection, it's consistency. Start protecting your sleep with the same seriousness that you protect your nutrition. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of sleep most nights if possible. Keep a regular sleep schedule, even on the weekends. Get outside in the morning to expose yourself to some natural sunlight. That helps strengthen your circadian rhythm. Limit caffeine late in the day. Reduce bright screen time before bedtime. And if you snore loudly, wake up gasping, or remain exhausted despite spending enough time in bed, talk to your healthcare provider about being evaluated for sleep apnea or another type of sleep disorder. Treating an underlying sleep disorder can sometimes improve your energy, your quality of life, and make healthy lifestyle changes easier to sustain. Just remember, sleep is not a luxury. It's one of the foundations of metabolic health. If you've been blaming yourself because losing weight feels harder than it used to, I hope today's episode gives you a little bit of a different perspective. Weight loss after 40 isn't just about eating less. It's about moving more. It's about giving your body the conditions it needs to function the way it's designed to. When you sleep better, your hunger hormones become more balanced. Your brain makes better decisions. Your workouts become more productive and your energy improves. And healthy choices begin to feel a little easier instead of feeling like an uphill battle every single day. Sometimes the missing piece isn't another diet. Sometimes it's 8 hours that you've been sacrificing for years. If you're working toward better health in midlife, don't think of sleep as something you earn after you've lost the weight. Think of it as one of the most powerful tools that can help you get there. Sleep well, live better. That sounds like the title of a book. I bet you could probably buy that on Amazon. Anyway, it is the title of a book that I have on Amazon. But I hope that the information that I presented to you today has been helpful. I know that weight loss and exercise, those are all things that I struggle with still. And it's just one of those things. As we get older, we have to change the way we think about how our body works and the way we address the problems that we have. We can't address them the way we did when we were in our 20s and 30s. We've just got to make a bit of a difference, a bit of a change. So if you have some tips that you think can help others along that way, I'm happy to pass them along. Send those on to me. You can touch base with me at j@somnilopod.com, or you can also message me through any of the socials or touch base with me on YouTube. So until we talk again, please remember to make sleep a priority. Thank you so much.